Hey everyone, it's Laura Myers for CMS-Connected here with Troy Hunt, one of the keynote speakers at Episerver Ascend. He's also a Microsoft MVP and Regional Director and author at Pluralsight. Thanks so much for sitting down with us. So first, I'd like to get your thoughts on the conference, because I know you probably go to a lot of conferences.
Yeah, I do. I've just come from a week in Seattle, which is why I sound so terrible now, because I've spent a week talking to people. So it's fun coming to Vegas. I mean, Vegas is always like information overload, right? Even getting here, as there's so many different buildings and walkways and things. Yeah. Look, it's been really good. I met a bunch of cool people. I did my keynote earlier today. My voice held long enough to do that, which seemed to be fine. Yeah. And had some very nice feedback. And I just watched the start of the Code Bash. I'm going to go and judge the Code Bash later on too. So that seemed exciting. That seemed like pretty good fun. Yeah.
Now, your expertise in security, the thing that we talk a lot about on CMS-Connected is the GDPR. So how do you think businesses can best prepare for that?
You know, it's funny in a way, because a lot of preparing for GDPR is things that we really should have been doing anyway. I mean, one of the big headlines that people latch onto with GDPR is the potential fines, right? So I think that the headline is, it's up to 4% of gross annual turnover. Worldwide too, interestingly enough. So, you know, people that are very concerned about that need to obviously be taking measures to avoid that eventuality where they do have a data breach. And the bit that I sort of hesitate on is well, you kind of should have been doing this anyway, right? So aspects of it like that, I think, are very, very reasonable and shouldn't be a new imposition. I guess the things that make it a little bit more interesting is things like the right for access to information, right to erasure. This is going to lead to other processes and policies that need to be in place. So there's a bit more work there. And look, beyond that, I think everyone is just very curiously waiting for that May deadline to roll around, and then see how much teeth GDPR has in the different member states in the EU. Like, let's actually see some precedents of action being brought against people that violate it. Because we're all kind of guessing about just how severe it will be and what are the sorts of things that will trigger, say, the 4%.
Yeah, and one of the things, the basics of GDPR is for people to protect their data and to have a little bit more due care in how businesses and brands are handling it. But what do you think consumers can do to be more mindful of their security while they're out, consuming online?
Well, there's a bunch of things. The number one thing that I see consumers continually getting wrong is passwords. And I spoke about this earlier today. I said, look, people are just using the same terrible passwords everywhere. And there's multiple problems with that. So, uniqueness is obviously part of it. Don't use the same password multiple places. Strength is part of it. And there's a really easy answer to this, which is get a password manager. So, like a dedicated product, like I use one called 1Password, made by a company called Agile Bits. All my stuff goes into there, strongly encrypted keychain, and I have no idea what my literally hundreds of different passwords are, great big random strings. So strength, uniqueness, very important. Get a password manager. Multi-step verification, very important. Now, I learned recently that services like Dropbox, only about 1% of people turn on, in their case, two-step verification. Which is just crazy, because there's like 99% of people, if you do get their username and password, you're into their account. Yeah. So that's another biggie. And the one that I think is just sort of the really good practical common sense stuff is just be really careful about what you digitize. Because anything you digitize has always got a much greater risk of being leaked than things that might be in the analog. And a good example that comes to mind is things like children's toys that record their voices and send them to the internet. Yeah. I wouldn't give my kids those. I'll give them Lego. They go play with Lego. Yeah. Because we have precedents of children's toys recording voices, going onto the internet, being leaked publicly, and I just feel kind of terrible as a parent if that happens.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. Thanks so much, Troy.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Perfect.